And welcome to Talk to Downtown. My name is Courtney Wood. I'm the Economic Development Director for the Downtown Stockton Alliance, the 501c6 nonprofit property-based business improvement district serving downtown Stockton. This webinar series is intended to connect our business owners, property owners, visitors, and residents with the organizations, people, and resources who can help address issues which are of top concern to them. Today we have special guest Katie Poole. She is an Employment and Economic Development Analyst for San Joaquin County. She's going to talk with us today about resources available for employers, small businesses, and job seekers. We'll begin by letting Katie go ahead and introduce herself and share a little bit about her role at the county. Then I will ask her a list of questions that I've outlined for her, and at the end, we will open it up for viewer questions. So if you do have a question, please type it in as a comment, and we will get to it towards the end of the live. And with that, welcome, Katie. Thank you so much for being our guest today. I'm excited to talk to you. You have a lot of resources that you're going to share with us. So please tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at San Joaquin County.
Thank you, Courtney. Really appreciate you having me here today to share the information that we can offer to all of our local businesses and the public at large. So my background, I started with San Joaquin County WorkNet, or the Employment Economic Development Department, in the week of the shutdown of the pandemic. So almost, right? We're like, oh, back to that time. But it was very interesting to see how, with everyone else closing down, even though our doors were closed to the public because of everything, our services were not. We really pivoted quickly to offer online services. And I learned a lot about what WorkNet and the Employment Economic Development Department have to offer to our county. And that's a mouthful. So I like to call it E2D2 because it's
that's cool.
And to say. So E2D2, I started as a analyst 1, and through the pandemic have now become an analyst 3, working on the Economic Development Association side and with the San Joaquin County Revolving Loan Fund, which is housed under the E2D2 umbrella. So that's kind of, and I have a master's in business administration, master of science in leadership. I'm really big on servant leadership and giving back to those we serve. I think that's an important part of being a leader, but also being a county agency. So that's a little bit about me, and yeah.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like you've had quite the experience in the E2D2, given where you started. I'm sure you've seen a lot of changes in the last few years. And actually, the last time that we had someone from San Joaquin's Economic Development Department was right when the pandemic had started. So I'm excited. And the focus of that was more about, emergency resources at that time. So I'm really excited to hear more about the things that you guys regularly do and new things that you have coming up. So I'm really excited to chat with you. Thanks, Katie. So can you remind us, what is the overall purpose of the San Joaquin County E2D2? I'll try to adopt that as we go through it.
No worries. So the overall purpose is to provide services to both employers and job seekers. So we're here to connect the two and also provide individual services to each part.
All right. And how is WorkNet related, or how is it connected with the rest of the department?
Right. So E2D2, or the Employment Economic Development Department, is the umbrella of the department name that we operate within the county. So E2D2 is kind of broken into two focuses. One is job seekers, which is our WorkNet piece, and the other is our Economic Development Association, which is our employer piece. And that is also where we have our revolving loan fund that I'm sure we'll talk about later. So under the WorkNet side, that is also what our county-facing, our forward-facing, public-facing, I'm going to say that again, we're known as throughout the county. Is like you say, WorkNet, people know that more than E2D2. And so that's all our logos, that's how we market ourselves, so that people are familiar with who we are and what we provide.
Okay, so you have WorkNet on one side for job seekers, you have the EDA on the other side for small business support programs. Okay, makes sense. Thank you. Mm-hmm. And I just want to talk generally because I know your department keeps these kinds of statistics. So what can you tell us about the current state of our economy and unemployment in San Joaquin County?
Yeah, so although unemployment appears to be down, and it is according, for just unemployment insurance, what we know, being our worknet selves, is that doesn't account for people who no longer qualify for unemployment insurance. So while unemployment rates are down because people are not getting as much unemployment insurance, is because people have fallen off and are no longer eligible to those benefits. So there's still quite a large number of people looking for jobs, and we see them go through our WorkNet centers every day that are looking for employment. And that's where we fill the gap, the need. So if we have employers looking for employees, they're coming through WorkNet's doors every day. So while that's the current state of employment in San Joaquin County, there are people out there who still need jobs and need to work.
Yes, definitely. And I think a lot of people are also seeking, more of a steady full-time type of position rather than having to juggle 3 or 4 part-time jobs, which can be
Exactly. Yeah.
really hard to do, but it's
Mhm.
common. Okay, so speaking of workforce development, what resources does your organization offer to people who are seeking employment? So how do you help them?
We have a lot of resources. The first step is anyone who comes through our door is not ever turned away. Even if they don't fit into one of our programs, we help them find a resource where they can benefit, or we point them in the right direction. We never say no to anyone. That is one of the things that we strive for. Secondly, all of our WorkNet centers are open for free to the public to be able to come in and do job searching, do resume building, and then we can offer one-on-ones if they have questions regarding their resume. We have trained staff who's able to look at their resume and provide suggestions. And we also have programs funded by the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act from the state of California, where if they're eligible based off certain requirements, then they can go into training, they can go into more job readiness programs, and we can even pay for supplemental support for like work boots, work clothes, that kind of thing. And so that depends on their eligibility. And some of the eligibility is like dislocated workers. So anyone who's been laid off, which I know that's been a hot topic
Yes.
issue right now, is people are worried about a recession and being laid off. We can be here to support any dislocated workers in getting them reemployed and getting them back into the workforce quickly. And then we also have adult uh, programs for there's various levels of eligibility there. And then we have youth programs as well. And our youth programs are for 16 to 24-year-olds. So it's not, I like to say young adult, but the state calls them youth. So
Okay, so you've got quite a plethora of resources then for a job seeker. I love that you have resume review. For anyone who's curious, do they have to pay for any of these programs, or are these free?
these
Okay.
are all free, and then it just depends on your eligibility to what you have access to at each center. But each center itself will allow anyone to come in for free to do the job searching or creating a resume and just having that one-on-one conversation with us about their resumes. That's all free. And all of our programs are free. They're funded by the state. And we also do like prison to employment. So anyone who's the reentry population or justice involved, we can help them find work as well. And we work with employers who are willing to work with people who were formerly justice involved. And there's so much more. I'm like touching the tip of the iceberg. We have veterans, and we're co-located with a lot of our partners. So if someone has a question about unemployment, if they come down to our main San Joaquin Stockton Center off of 6221 West Lane, we actually have the state unemployment department co-located here with us. And we also have the Department of Rehabilitation here. We have the Department for Veterans here. So we have a lot of resources within one area.
Wow. Okay. So it sounds like you can help youth, you can help people seeking a new job, people who have been laid off, even veterans maybe coming back from deployment, and you have a lot of resources for everyone. So if anyone is listening and you are thinking of looking for a job or need to look for a job, this is a great resource for you. And now let's shift gears and talk about employers. So what kind of resources do you have for employers, small businesses? We have a lot of small businesses downtown who might be able to benefit from some of your programs.
Well, first and foremost, with all of these people coming in for resources that are looking for employment, we have a workforce that we can help you find. So if you're looking for any sort of assistance there, we have monthly job fairs that you can have a booth at. We do not charge for our job fairs at all. And we can have you be a part of that. We're also doing job fairs out in the community. So traditionally we have job fairs here at our worknet location, but now we're branching out and actually doing job fairs specifically in Tracy, out in Ripon. So trying to really spread that throughout the county. And then we also have programs called like on-the-job training. So on-the-job training is there to benefit the individual, but it benefits the employer as well. But the individual is our partner, and the business just benefits from that partnership, right? So the on-the-job training contracts can help businesses because we will reimburse up to 50% of the wages for up to 6 months while you train them. So let's say you have a chef position in your restaurant and you're like, I want someone who's had 1 year of experience at least on a line, a chef line. But I'm willing to accept someone who has had 6 months experience and I'm willing to train them up to that full capacity. Then you can reach out to us and we can find an individual who's looking to work as a chef, and we can get them signed on with you for an on-the-job training contract. And depending on what their knowledge gap is, anywhere from 1 to 6 months of training that we will reimburse up to 50% of their wages for to you. So you'll pay them and then we reimburse you. So it's a wage reimbursement program.
I love that. So it's between 1 and 6 months. And at the end of the contract, what usually happens for the individual and the employer?
Then you hire your employee. You just hire them. They're already hired with you, so you don't hire them again. But you just keep them on, and you have a fully trained employee who's able to do what you needed to do, and you got 6 months of wage reimbursement.
I love that. That is an awesome program. So I hope any small business owners listening can sign up for that if it sounds like a good fit. I want to ask, is there any limit to who can apply as a business to be a part of that type of program?
No, you just have to, you can't have laid anyone off in the last 180 days because we want to see job retention. We don't want to place somebody with a place that regularly lays people off, right? We want people to keep their jobs. And then there's a few other components that you have to go through that if you reach out directly to us, that we can walk you through those. And then we also have on the other side, so that's our adult program. We have a work experience program for our youth that is similar. So our work experience program, we're the employee of record. So we pay 100% of the wages to the youth. And we pay the workers' comp fees, and we pay the youth directly. So there's no obligation on the employer's part to pay the youth. And these are, again, youth is 16 to 24, so it's not all youth. But that does have also requirements of, depending on if they're in-school youth or out-of-school youth, how many hours a week they can do. They can only do up to 20 hours a week, but it's also dependent on their schedule. And you can only do that program for up to about 320 to 500 hours, depending on the needs of the individual. So we're very individual needs based. So that we take the time to get to know each employee that we're trying to put with you. And there's kind of like a pipeline that's not used very well here in San Joaquin County. And that is this like work experience pipeline, which can be used for some, it's not for everything. So you start somebody at the age of like maybe 18 in the work experience program where we are the employee of record. Then you get them for 320 hours. You're like, you know what, this is going good. I would like to hire them in a higher position, but they're not quite ready. They need some training. Then you can get an on-the-job training contract with this individual. And then you get reimbursed for up to 50% of the wages as long as they qualify and you qualify. And then you can roll that into what we're starting to create, which is an ETP. It's the Employment Training Program. So that is a new thing that I'm jumping ahead of your questions.
Yeah, no, definitely go for it. It fits.
So we have 2 dedicated staff that I've recently hired called Business Retention Expansion Program Specialists, BREPS for short. We're all about acronyms in government. So the BREPS are going to be directly over this ETP, Employment Training Program. And it's a tax that all businesses, like privately owned businesses, sole proprietors, have to pay into. So it's like 0.07. I don't quote me on the exact amount of tax you pay, but you pay in an employment training tax for each employee that you have. That then goes to the state into an employment training panel budget, right? And what the state of California has done is said, we're going to put that back out into the public. Well, not the public. We're going to put that back out for people to apply for to be able to get reimbursed for training they regularly provide. So if you're upskilling your workers, you can join us in a multi-employer contract. So we're putting this contract together right now for all of San Joaquin County, and we can help you get reimbursed for any training you provide that's above 8 hours. It has to be at least 8 hours of training that you provide to upskill your employees. So it can't be regular training like new employee orientation. That is not going to be covered. But if you're trying to upskill a office assistant into a supervisor and there's very specific training that you're doing, we can get you reimbursed for that training as long as it's 8 hours or above. And then there's a few other, I'm trying to do a high level overview of everything we do. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on with it, but we'll help you walk through the process.
What an interesting pipeline. And yeah, I don't know how many people take advantage of it. So I hope they do after hearing more about it. You can start as youth, using the county's programs to be basically the youth is paid for through you guys, so that it's really no risk to the employer themselves. And then after that, they can move to the on-the-job training to make sure that the employee can get fully accustomed to the position. And then you have even a program for additional training and skill development. So this is an amazing pipeline. And yes, please, small businesses, listen, take advantage of these programs. Thank you for the overview of kind of the workforce development programs that you offer on both the job seeker side and the business side. Are there any other small business support programs that you offer?
Yes, so we also have our revolving loan fund. So since 1977, we've had the San Joaquin County Revolving Loan Fund. So we've been here for decades, and we're able to offer small grant, I'm about to get myself in trouble. Small loans to local businesses. You do have to have an establishment in San Joaquin County. The business itself has to be here. So if you're going to be opening something, or even if you're going to be having like a food truck, something like that, as long as it's stationed, you have a business license for San Joaquin County, we can look into funding your business. We can fund entrepreneurs. So these are people who've never had to file taxes yet for their business, and it's just the beginning. We can fund people who've been here a while and they're just not quite credit worthy enough to go to a traditional bank. And we can fund anything for large job creation. So we fund anywhere from $5,000 to $1 million for businesses. Wow. And we use current market rates, or anywhere from 2 to 4% above current market rates, depending on the risk that we're taking on as the county. Since we are a direct lender, we have to be very cognizant of who we're lending to. We want you to be successful, and we want the program, the revolving loan fund, to be around for another 40, 50 years. So that is right. A really great product that is like not well known in the community.
Yes. And so for these loans, you said, I believe, 5,000 to 1 million. What are the payment terms? Like, what's the length of the loan
it
on
really
average?
Depends on what they're looking to finance. So we can finance equipment. We can finance working capital. We can finance real estate if they're looking to buy a location to move into. And then the payback terms just depends on what they're financing, how much they're asking for, and how that all plays in together. So it's a really a individual answer.
Yes. So for that program, let's say that someone's interested in applying. What should they do? And also, how long would the application process take?
Yeah. So I like to let everyone know everything with government takes time. It is not, if you need it tomorrow, we're not the program for you. But if you don't need it tomorrow, you can get started today. And usually in about 60 days, 30, if we're really aggressive and you're really communicating with us, what we tend to see is you guys are so busy as business owners that you can't get us required documents in order to do what we call a financial spread as quickly as we would like. So it does take anywhere from 30 to 60 days, sometimes 90, depending on how quickly the business works with us. And then sometimes it does take longer depending on different holdups or if the business changes in the middle of an agreement, the terms, and they're like, oh, actually, I said I wanted $1 million, but now I only want 500,000. And that's fine. We can do that. But it does create additional time added to everything because then we have to go back before our boards for approval to renew the terms. So.
Okay. So that sounds like a great lending resource if there are any businesses out there looking to grow, expand. Just be aware there is a county revolving loan fund where you can get some of that funding. Okay, I have another couple of programs that I'm curious about. So I know you have an employer hotline. And this is for HR related questions, which is such a cool idea. And please tell us all about it. You know, how did the need for this come about and how does it work?
So the California HR hotline is something that we pay into to benefit our small businesses in San Joaquin County. We are joint partnership with a few other counties in our regional planning unit. So there's about 8 other counties with us that pay into this for their county. So Stanislaus, stuff like that, are involved in it as well. And it's all ran through a company called the California Employment Association, CEA. If you research it, they'll pop right up. And they run the HR hotline, and it's 100% free to all of our businesses. You can call the 1-888 number, and then, and I should pull that up so I have it.
Yeah, let us know. Yeah, let us know so we can share.
Yeah. So, and then the 1-888 number, it's 1-888-202-2207. And there's flyers that we have. I usually post it. We have our social media posts that we post about it, and you can call and ask any HR question. So if you're like, I'm not sure if I should have this pregnancy disability, how long that should be eligible to FMLA versus CFRA, and there's all these acronyms for different types of leave for those on pregnancy disability or medical disability and stuff like that. So if you have any questions about that, you can just call, ask your question. If you're not sure if you can legally fire somebody, if you're not sure if you're supposed to be providing a certain type of insurance for your type of employees, just any human resources question that you might have. And the reason we are paying into this for our San Joaquin County businesses is because we know how difficult it is, especially as a sole proprietor business, and you're just running everything on your own. You usually don't have an HR department right behind you to forward these questions to. So this is like your mini HR department. So you have any questions about what you can and can't do when it comes to human resources, give them a call and they'll be able to answer your questions. Just make sure you say you're a San Joaquin County business.
Amazing. I love that resource. So any small businesses, HR related questions, you have free help if you just call the county's HR hotline. And this is the number that I got. So correct me if I say it incorrectly, but I have 1-888-202-2207.
That's
okay,
it.
So that's a hotline number for anyone with HR related questions. Thank you, Katie.
And then
amazing resource.
In addition to that, once a month, they offer free webinars that you can attend as a business. And we post them on our Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn pages. So once a month, they have a dedicated training like about California labor laws, California leave laws, anything that's changing, how to do an employee handbook if that interests you. So each month there's a different webinar that's free that our businesses can attend.
Wow. Is there a set day for those, or do they just kind of pop
It's
up?
not, it's different. I believe our next one is going to be March 16th, so next Thursday. And we should have a flyer on our social media pages about that already.
Thank you. Yeah, great information. I'm sure people can utilize those webinars.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to also now ask about a different program. So I know you have something called a rapid response program for small businesses. Can you please share a little bit about what that is and how it
Yes.
works?
So if we have any businesses that are having to close down or lay off a certain amount of employees, they're required to report that to the state. And the state lets us know as a local rapid response team that X company is laying off X amount of people or completely going out of business and laying everybody off by a certain date. And they usually have to give at least a month notice. So then we go out there, we connect with the employer, and we go out there and we provide on the spot job fairs. We'll provide on the spot enrollment into our different programs because they would qualify as dislocated workers possibly. Not yet, but if they were to get to that point. So we try and get them into a new job at the end of when the plant or location will close. That way they don't become dislocated workers and they're always having constant employment and can help their families. It also helps the employer because that makes them want to stay with the current employer until the end instead of jumping ship early, so to speak. And so then they're there for until the plant is fully closed and the plant's not looking for like somebody to finish running it for that 1 month period. And then it benefits the next employer because they're getting qualified workforce, right? They're getting workforce that shows up, that has skills in a certain area. And we usually try and fit whatever company is shutting down, we try and get them into a similar company in our county so they don't have to commute. So we're really keeping the workforce within our county, the knowledge within our county, and getting those people employed as quickly as possible.
What a great service for the workers. Really, really great, making sure that they don't become displaced. I have a question about how large does the employer need to be for that program to be available to them?
That is a good question. I am not sure of the required size. I just know that anyone who is required to report to the state, we get those reports directly. And if anyone is not required to report to the state and wants to reach out to us, we are willing to do something similar, even if you're not required to report to the state.
That's great to know. Yeah, just there might be some smaller businesses who unfortunately may need to close down, but those workers could still benefit from that program. So that's great to know. Great to know.
And kind of hand in hand with that are our BREPs, the business retention part. We are utilizing reports and connections with all of the different cities' economic development departments and the chambers and different business organizations to create a process where we actually go out and do like one-on-ones with businesses, the BREPs will, to be able to see like, okay, where are your struggles? Where are you having some pain points? And then we're trying to help solve those in real time. So if you're a business that's having some sort of issue that you are worried that it may cause you to shut down, reach out to us and we'll see what we can do to help.
Thank you. That's awesome to know about as well. If someone is experiencing struggles, reach out to the county's economic development department, and maybe they'll listen to you. Maybe they'll have suggestions, resources to offer you to help you stay open, to help you thrive. So awesome. Thank you, Katie, for that too. Now I want to kind of just ask you, are there any new services or programs that you're just launching this year, or maybe you're getting ready to?
Yes. So the one I jumped ahead about was ETP, the Employment Training Panel. So that is something that we're currently applying for to be able to roll out, hopefully beginning of the fiscal year, so June, July of this year. And that is going to be determined on how many relationships, how many companies come to us and say, I'm interested, I have employees that I want to provide upskill training for and get reimbursed. Especially if you're doing it already. If you're already providing upskilled training to your employees, why not get reimbursed for it? So reach out to us. So that's something that is going to be in full force this year. The other thing is our business concierge center. And that is going to be a little one-stop shop here at our main Stockton site where businesses can come in and they'll have access to a computer, all modern technology, printers, a phone. They'll have availability of interview space, that kind of thing, where they can just come in and do their taxes. They can post for job openings that they're having for their business and everything like that. And we'll have an intake and referral specialist who can help provide them to other resources, point them in other directions. And we have Small Business Development Center, the SBDC, right here on site. So if they have questions, they can get help from them as well. So this is a new thing that will be opening probably in June of this year. We're getting the office set up and we'll have a grand opening. And we're going to provide also with the Business Concierge Center itself, classes and different trainings through our Small Business Growth Academy. So that's something that we'll be launching this year as well, is the Small Business Growth Academy. It's going to have a 3-pronged approach to it. And so businesses that are brand new, entrepreneurs that have never filed a tax return, then we'll have one entry point for them. We'll have another entry point for businesses who are about 2 to 5 years in business, and then another entry point for businesses that are more experienced and are looking maybe for growth or expansion, or to go after procurement contracts with the city or county.
Interesting. Okay, so you shared a lot of information there. I want to ask a little bit of, a couple of questions that came to me. So the concierge program, who can take advantage of that? Is it for a certain type of business? Is it for a business that maybe doesn't have an office? Or, who's the best fit?
Yeah, definitely someone who does not have an office, doesn't have the availability. The reason it came to mind is we ran the small business grants during COVID. We ran the small business assistance grants, and we would get people who were like, oh, I don't have access to a computer to apply. I can't scan all my documents in. I don't have access to QuickBooks to get a good profit and loss statement. So we really wanted to create that center where they could just come in and do that. In addition, there's FedEx offices, there's libraries, but this would be like a one location where not only could they use the programs and the materials that we have, but they can ask us for help. Oh, I'm not quite understanding this question. What are they asking for here? And we're right there to help them apply for the grant or submit the application or something like that. But it's going to be open to all businesses. As I'm sure as it gets busier, we'll probably have to do some sort of like a check-in
appointment.
Yeah. But I'm sure at first it'll be like not many people know about it, and so we're not open yet. That center's not open yet. We'll have a grand opening and post it on our website, but that is something that is coming.
Great. Yeah, what a great resource. Plenty of businesses, especially like nonprofits in our area too, if they're applying for a grant, they might be interested in having their questions answered about how to do that. But I love that as a resource for our small businesses. So my next question is about the business growth program. Can you tell us more about what exactly the program is going to help each kind of category of business do?
Mm-hmm. So with the foundational, the entrepreneur one, that's going to be like really foundational knowledge. How do you start a business? What resources do you need? How do you get a business license for the area that you're looking in? Because it could be different if you're in an unincorporated part of the county versus an incorporated part of the county, which city you're in. Each one has their own nuances and differences. So it's going to be training based around that and how to like dig. We're not going to do it for you, because part of owning a business is you got to have that grit. You got to have that determination. But we're there to help you through it so that it's not quite the uphill battle that it has been in the past. So that's for our entrepreneurs. We'll also go over like management classes, how to manage, how like basics, right, of running a business. And then for the middle ground road, we'll have classes about financial planning, how to do your profit and loss statement, QuickBooks, that kind of thing. We'll bring in tax accountants and tax consultants to let you know which tax incentives you should be taking advantage of and probably are not. And then for the higher level, we're going to really focus on procurement, how to get those contracts with the county and city or even state. We have historically low like businesses locally that apply for all these contracts that are available for everyone to apply for, but our local businesses just don't. So why is that? Going through and getting those myths that are around applying for contracts taken down and helping you have a resource to go to for questions. Yeah. And more to come.
It could be.
I'm hoping to really build it out. So that's just the basic level. And we're hoping to partner with people like iHub, Small Business Development Center, each of the city's economic development teams. City of Stockton is great to partner with. Lathrop and Manteca and Tracy and Ripon and Lodi all have really focused people for economic development. So,
well, that actually sounds like a lot and so beneficial. Will it be free? All of these programs are free. They just need to sign up for them.
Yeah, that is the plan. Wow. To make them free. So still working on that. That's why it's not out yet. There's a lot with government that you have to go through, and I have to go before our board of supervisors, and we'll have to, but these are things that are in the works.
Excellent. I cannot wait. I will definitely direct people over to that program once it's launched, because there's so many small businesses or people who want to start a small business, and they always need all kinds of support and help to kind of take that first step. I love that. Okay, so now let's kind of shift into you and your work there at E2D2. So I would like to know, what is the common question that you are asked, and how do you answer it?
The most common question I get asked is, it boils down to basically, when do I get the money? Whether it's an employer who's looking to start the on-the-job training contract with us and get reimbursement for their wages that they pay, or someone who's applied for the revolving loan fund, or someone who's coming to us for assistance on a grant, something like that, is like, when can I get the money? And with government, I like to set realistic expectations. If you get an agreement from a government entity, you will get the money. I just can't guarantee you when. Okay. So there is no guarantee on a set date that will actually happen, but I can guarantee you will get it. Yes. So that's the most common question, and that's how I answer it. It's like, we do everything we can. We're in constant communication. My staff, for anything that we're directly over, we constantly communicate with the employers, and let them know, where we're at in the process, and we're always here to answer questions. And we completely understand some of the frustrations that come with working with a government program, and we're here to listen, and we're here to push where we can. And you will get your money. I just can't guarantee you when.
So patience. Patience is key.
Patience.
Okay. Good to know, to set expectations. I love that. Yeah. And the next thing I want to ask you is, what do you love about working for the San Joaquin County Employment and Economic Development Department? What do you love most about this work?
At the actual work that we're doing, like the actual outcomes that we see. So if you ever have a chance, we have workforce development board meetings on a regular basis, and we share success stories in all of these. And it is just amazing to hear how we have like people who had no employment, no training, and they go from that to going through one of our programs, and they come out the other side with a $40 an hour job. That's just amazing. And I've worked in many departments through the county. I've been with the county for a decade, and I've worked in Human Services Agency. I've worked at San Joaquin General Hospital. I've worked for the San Joaquin County Clinics, and they're all great, and they do what they can within the constraints of the program, which is what we do here as well, right? Every program, because it's all state funded, there's certain things that we're required to report on and certain things that we can't do. But I feel like here at WorkNet, we really make a difference, and we get people more than just livable wage jobs. We get them family working jobs. Like, you're going to be able to not only take care of food for your family and pay the bills, but you're going to be able to go out and actually live your life, right? You're going to have some fun, because we're not here just to work and that's it. So I really feel like we can see in live action on a monthly basis the impact that we actually provide to our community that we live and work in as well. And that's the thing that I love most about working for WorkNet.
That's beautiful. You're making a difference in family lives, individual lives, and the life of small businesses as well. Amazing. That's so like awesome to hear. So, if anyone is interested in any of the programs that you've talked about today, how can they sign up, or maybe get on some kind of pre-waiting list for programs that haven't launched yet? What can they do? Who should they get in touch with?
They can get in touch with me directly. They can go to our sjcworknet.org website. At the top, we have employer services and job seeker services. And you can go to each one and it'll have a list of different programs, and my contact information is there, but also just Katie Poole. It's kpoole at sjcworknet.org. Poole with an E. So it's like swimming pool, but with an E. You can call me directly, 209-468-3670. But I'll be honest, email is better. I'm not always at my desk. I'm usually trying to do programs or in a meeting to have a new program come out, or working with my director, Patricia Virgin, to get something else started for the community. So email is best. But you can always also call our main line, go to our webpage, send an email. We're here to help. You can also just walk in. Ask for me or ask for one of my business retention expansion program specialists. We don't say no. We might say not yet, and you need to work on XYZ, and we'll give you the path to get there, and we'll be able to refer you to the right resource.
Awesome. And that address, so your new location, because I know you guys moved last year. Can you share the address just in case anyone doesn't know?
Of course, 6221 West Lane. We're Suite 105, and we have a big WorkNet sign over our entryway. We're in the same parking lot as the King's Card Club, across the street from the Hammer 8 Cinema, off of, I always get it wrong, off of West Lane.
There you go.
West Lane and Swain.
West Lane and Swain. Easy to remember.
Yeah.
Thank you. And thank you, Katie, for answering all of my questions. And thank you for the work that you do, the wonderful support for our small business community and for our workers. So at this time, I would like to encourage anyone who has a question to please type it in. If you've been listening this whole time, maybe there's a program that you're really interested in, but you have a question about it, go ahead and type it in as a comment. And while we're waiting for the questions, I want to remind everyone that this video has been streaming live to YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, where we are at Downtown Stockton. But it has also been streaming to Twitter, where we are at Downtown STKN. And with that, let's move into the viewer questions. Are you ready, Katie?
I'm ready.
Okay. All right. First, this looks like a comment. This is from Michael Huber. He says, Katie, we currently have a volunteer through the youth program. All the young men that have participated have been a great addition to our team for the time they've been at the DSA. Hector Quintero has been a great resource. Thank you. Okay, so that's our executive director. He has a nice comment for you guys. So
thank you so much. And that's really, without all of the case managers, the intake staff, the referral staff, none of these programs would be possible. So we have a really great team, and our WorkNet really is a net of people working to get you back into work or to get you the employees you need to keep your business running. So we have a really great staff here.
Lovely. Okay. Thank you, Michael. And we've got another comment up here. This is from Free of Dirt LLC on Instagram. This person says, thank you for your work. Great comments.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, we do have a couple of questions coming through. This is from William Ajayi. He's asking, are there any programs for first-time landlords throughout the county? This may or may not be something that you can answer.
I'm not aware of any programs. That doesn't mean they're not out there. One thing I like to say is if there's a need, there's a resource out there somewhere So what I'm going to do is I'll have one of my reps research that, and we'll see what we can do. And William, if you want to reach out to us separately after this, we'll figure it out.
Great answer. Okay, thank you, William, for your question. So possibly, sounds like we may need to look into that a little further to help you. But reach out to Katie, and she might have something to share. Okay, we have another question here. This is from Kofi Abu Musa Majid, and he is asking, can you help business farmers and ranchers as well? The comment here is, often agribusinesses aren't accounted for in these opportunities. So do you have any programs for farmers, for ranchers, for agriculture businesses?
Not specifically just for farmers and ranchers, but all of our programs are for all businesses. Any minority, any small business enterprise, any disadvantaged population, we're here. And of course, agribusiness is huge in San Joaquin County. So we want to be able to offer. So if there's any particular pain points that you're feeling, please reach out and let us know what those are, and we'll find the resources that you need.
Excellent.
And then, of course, the revolving loan fund is also open to all businesses.
So, sounds like all the programs there are open to that type of business. So check it out. Thank you for your question and comment, Kofi. And it looks like the same person has another question. So Kofi is asking, are these services and programs available for nonprofit organizations and CBOs? Great question. We have a lot of nonprofits here. So
yes,
what do you think?
Yes, our business concierge service will definitely be open. And once we open it, we'll be eligible for all nonprofit organizations and CBOs as well. There are some, I'm not positive about our on-the-job training program, if that is available for nonprofits. I know our work experience placement of our youth is available to nonprofits and is a great resource to nonprofits, because you're giving them the work experience that they need, and we're paying for that. So that one's a good one for nonprofits and CBOs.
Excellent. Okay, thank you, Katie, for answering the question, and thank you, Kofi, for your question. Sounds like nonprofits can benefit from the youth training program. Love it. Okay, so next we have a question here from Johnny Palacios. So it's a fellow staff member. He's asking, do you have any programs for teens looking for summer jobs, asking for a friend? Sounds like maybe with the youth.
So we did used to have a summer youth employment training program. We don't have that specifically anymore, but we do have our youth program called Work Start Yes. And through Work Start Yes, we work with Eckerd Connects, the San Joaquin County Office of Education, and the California Human Development Agency in Lodi. And all of those are, we subcontract with them, and they help the youth in our area either get training, make sure they stay in school, or get into employee jobs through the work experience program.
Excellent. So the answer is yes. We've got a resource for you. And it looks like we have maybe one last comment. And this is from William Ajayi, and he wants us to share the number again. Is that for the
hotline,
employer hotline, possibly? I think so. Do you want to share that one again, Katie?
Yeah. So the employer hotline is 1-888-202-2207.
Thank you. And just in case, if he's maybe just asking about the general worknet number or EDD number, can you share that as well?
Yes, that one is 209-468-3500.
Thank you, Katie. And thank you, William, for asking us for that again. Okay, we've got two more questions coming in. Thanks for the questions, everyone. So the first one is, this one is also from Free of Dirt LLC on Instagram. They're asking, how can you help a business that has been 4 years growing? Great question. What do you think, Katie?
There's many ways. We can either help you find employees if that's what you're looking for. We can help if you're having issues with zoning or anything like that with the city or PG&E. we can try and work through those issues with you, like be that counterpart that is also that squeaky wheel to help you along. Then there's also the revolving loan fund program. If you're interested in growing the business or getting more employees that way. So there's lots of ways. We just need to know what you need.
Excellent. Yeah, a lot of options there to support. And the new program that you guys have coming, the growth program that you were sharing about, that would also be a great resource, it sounds like,
Yes.
for a business in that position. Love that. Okay, there's one last question that I saw popping up. And I think you have an answer for this one, Katie. And I definitely know you do, based upon everything you shared today. And this is from Free of Dirt LLC again. Do you help with hiring people?
We do. We can be your little mini HR. We can help you post jobs. We can help you get a job description together, and we can help you with the interviewing, as well as like referring different people directly to your business that you share with us. Like if you're looking for a certain type of employee to hire, so we can definitely help you with that.
Okay. Thank you for your questions, Free of Dirt LLC. Okay, so it looks like there are no remaining questions, but we have some nice comments that are saying thank you. Thank you to us for sharing. So thanks, Katie, for answering the audience questions, and thanks, viewers, for typing them in. Before we close out, is there anything else that you'd like to share about WorkNets, about E2D2, or the work that you do, Katie?
Just reach out to us and utilize our programs. Again, my direct number, 209-468-3670, but it's better to email me, kpoole, Poole, at sjcworknet.org. And we're always going out there, so come up to us and say hi. If you see us, we're at all the ribbon cutting. We're trying to be at all the ribbon cuttings for our different chambers, and at the new employee orientations for all of our different chambers, and working with our economic development counterparts at each city as well, and Downtown Stockton Alliance, and really trying to make sure that you see us and you don't feel like you can't come talk to us. We're here to answer questions. If we don't have the answer, we will find the answer and point you in the right direction.
I love that. Thank you so much, Katie, for your time, for answering all of our questions, for sharing these amazing resources that our downtown Stockton business owners and residents can take advantage of. And even if you're not in downtown and you're just in other areas of the county, all of these programs apply to you. So thank you so much for your time, for being here, for being our guests. Yes. And thanks for the work that you do. Thank you, viewers, for tuning in. This video is going to be uploaded permanently on YouTube, so you can always share it with anyone who you think might benefit. And with that, I would just say thanks, everyone, and have a great day downtown.